Start with 4 of these wooden decor boxes from Dollar Tree. I need these to lay flat. So the first thing I do is remove the bracket off the back of all 4 boxes, and then I pull the centerpiece off of the front, and I grip the box so that my thumbs are pressing down in each corner. Apply pressure until the backing comes off. Sometimes there'll be a little debris left inside the indention. You can use a flathead screwdriver, a sanding block, or a metal file to remove the debris from inside the indention. Once I've done all 4 this way, I use a damp cloth to wipe any dust and debris away from the surface. The thing that I'm going to be using on the outside is going to be some mosaic mirror tiles, and I'm using some that I purchased from Amazon. I've still never been able to find these at Dollar Tree myself. I know several people have, but I just haven't happened on them yet. These have an adhesive backing, so it's just a peel and stick all the way around, and you're finished with that part. Next, I use acrylic gems from Dollar Tree and the square acrylic containers. Remove the lids from all the containers. Well, we won't be using the lids for this project, but I'm going to show you a great DIY that you can make with these lids in another video. So I start gluing the gems inside the acrylic walls. So I like to use the offset pattern with these. The trick to this is really and truly the less amount of hot glue, the better. Acrylic and acrylic bond extremely well together with hot glue. These are not going to come off. It's just not necessary to use a lot. Just a little dab will do you. Plus, you don't want the glue to be visible anyway. So I just keep gluing and gluing until I have filled the entire inside of each container wall with all of these gems. Now I go back to my wooden boxes and I glue some fairy lights that I'd purchased from Dollar Tree on the inside. And I'm going to glue these on the slender side because they will not fit right the other way. Make sure you center it on each side of the walls in your boxes so that you can turn your switch on and off, and so that the screw is facing out so you'll be able to change your batteries. Next, take your glue gun and press the tip in the very center of your container. Now there's like this manufacturer marking, so you will get it dead center every time. Using my glue gun tip because, for one, it's already hot, so it's easy to grab. I only need to make 1 hole in each of these, but also because the temperature isn't nearly as hot as like a soldering iron or hot knife. So the hole that the glue gun creates is perfect and it's not disfigured in any kind of way. I grab one of the containers and then I thread the fairy lights through the hole that we created. And here's where it gets fun. I discovered this while working on a separate project, that these containers actually fit inside of these little boxes. So just add glue around the base of all 4 sides, and again, not a lot of glue, and place them inside your wood frame. Now here's the tricky part. On the second one, I'm going to show you before adding glue that the container will go all the way down to the base of the box. And you really don't want that because you want this to be glued where your gems aren't covered up. So you do have to kind of place this. I just continue to thread, glue, and stack these one by one. And when you get to the top, you can add as many of these as you want. You can make these pillars, you can make these tall, you can, even make it shorter if you wanted. But once you're finished, you can lay the base down on its side and adjust your lights where they're all evenly lit inside each box. Your base back up, and now you can use the 5x5 mirrors from Dollar Tree as a base to maybe set some candles on, display a centerpiece, or put some flowers in. Options to this are just endless. You could create like a lamp base. There are so many things that you could create. So I hope you're inspired to give this DIY a try, and if you are, I love to see it. Thank you. Here are a couple of other DIYs that you can create using mostly the same materials, except for this time we're going to be using the lids to the containers instead of the actual containers, but we're also going to keep it the same theme. The first thing I do is prep the boxes the same way, push out the center and bling out the outside. I also glue gems to the backs of these lids. I actually lost that film. It's just gluing the gems the same way as we glued them to the inside of the containers. So once you have all 4 of your lids covered in gems, then set those aside and grab the wooden boxes. You don't have to use lights for this, but if you want to, be sure that you work with those first. And if it's fairy lights from Dollar Tree, just count out 6 bulbs with the last bulb inside of the box and then glue the wire down where the indention is facing up. And you want to be sure that your wire is placed either at the top or at the bottom corner. Then glue a 5x5 mirror inside that indention on the back. So you're not going to have a very big space because I'm using 1 wire for 2 of the little wooden boxes. So I do the same thing for the other one, and I put 6 bulbs in that one as well. But you also want to make sure your battery pack is left out when you're gluing everything together. So I'll flip them over and I use a small amount of glue around the lids and I glue those face down. Then I do the other 2 the exact same way. I also decided to add some duct tape to the backs of these to give the mirrors a little bit more support. Afterwards, I stand each one up and I place these so that they are in a square shape. And you can glue the seams together or you can connect the seams with a piece of duct tape. And that is it for this one. Add you some pretty flowers in it and turn it on at night and enjoy this. This is really cute. It's really fun. It's really easy to create. So this next one is all the exact same. The only difference I'm showing you here is how you can turn this into a lovely wall decor piece. So all I do is lay everything back out on my table and I start gluing 4 of the Jenga wooden blocks together ×4 to create a spacer in between each one so that I know for a fact everything is evenly spaced out. I'm also going to use the fairy light since I've already incorporated that in with this DIY. And again, that's just totally optional. I trace and I cut out an outline of one of the Dollar Tree 5x5 mirrors to give me a piece of foam that's a 5x5. And then I traced and cut out an outline of 2 battery packs side by side so that I would have a little window. So the idea behind this was to glue the battery packs or to place them back to back with the screws facing out and glue those to the little window piece so that when the batteries need replaced, all you have to do is pop the little window out and change them. Velcro is a really good option for this too, but I totally messed up this idea when I glued my craft sticks on the back, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Glued the foam piece to the corners of each wooden box, and then I stick my battery down inside the little window. Then I started gluing the craft sticks on the back, and that is where I messed up. When you're gluing this, you just want to keep your craft sticks on the border and do not cover up the window. That way you can access your batteries. Oh, and be sure that when you're doing this, also use a good amount of hot glue on your craft sticks and allow that plenty of time to settle, to take and really grab to those mirrors. Once those are glued, I take a little bracket and 2 small screws and I mount that to one of the wooden craft sticks on the back. And I'm constantly making sure that this is durable and it's holding. And I added a little bit of glue in with the screws as I was screwing the screws in. I hung it on the wall, and this is the results. So you may come up with a better way to hang this. I thought of individually hanging these and then using Velcro like on the center mirror in the front and accessing the batteries that way. Which one of these three do you like the most? And I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. Also, keep a watch out for Miss Beverly's video. She's going to be posting for us on Tuesday. I can't wait to see what she has made for us. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you many, many blessings, my friend.